thank Sergey Livnev for this wonderful. Thank you. And we are joined by Professor Goghs from Film and Media Studies. We will probably ask just a few, maybe one question each, and we open it up for you guys to take it from there.
Do you want to start off?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. All right. Well, since I get one question, I guess I thought I was trying to see this as a kind of a film of a rebirth in a way. But there's a scene where they're in the art gallery in Israel, and he's talking to the dealer, and he says his piece is a destroyed work. Does that have any relevance to the film that we're seeing today? There's a way that it seems as though this film is it's a film of someone who is starting over, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's correct. It's a film about somebody who, at the end of the film, starts a new life, and whose life was probably always like a vicious circle of starting something and probably even finishing, but then destroying it. And who knows what the next cycle will bring for him, but we leave him at the beginning of the cycle, giving him courtesy to believe that he may find his way in this life this time.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, that's for me, that seems like it's really central, and that potential, at least at the end, does seem, I don't know how to put the knots for once are unraveled, the knots are open.
Yeah, I wanted very much to have a happy end in the film. Because that's something that's something that I would very much like to have for myself and for all of you as well.
Thank you.
My question is kind of motivated by, driven by the fact that Hunter College happens to have a summer program in Russian language and literature in Riga, in Latvia, and in the Baltics. And my question is mainly about your choice of the setting for this film, Riga and Latvia and Israel. Does this have any significance, whether biographical or creative? Why was it important for you to film the film and to situate it there?
Well, obviously, the film does not deal with any social issues or political issues. It's not at all ethnographical of any kind, right? It's not National Geographic. So it could have been happening anywhere, in any big city where there is an orchestra. So I was looking in different places. I knew that I wanted to make a film with Russian-speaking actors. So it must be a place where Russian is widely spoken. Why Latvia? I like it very much. I like it as a country. I like Riga. I like Jūrmala, which is a suburb, like Beverly Hills of Riga, and where it's where the house of the main characters located. And I felt that because the son escaped from his father, he had to not only just go away from his house, but he had to go as far as possible from not just from his house, but from his city, from his country. And I felt that that would form a nice composition, very subtle, laconic northern Latvia, and buoyant, colorful, noisy delivery. So that's why I decided to set it in those two places.
Thank you. And if I may ask just one more question about the soundtrack. I know you wanted to say something about it.
The soundtrack belongs to a very big composer whose name is Leonid Desetnikov, and I was looking for music for this film when I was editing. In the beginning, I thought not use any music, but then I realized that I need music, and I couldn't find a composer. And then, just when editing, I decided to use a temp track. As a temp track, I used music from my very old film from 1994, which was called Hammer and Sickle. And the music was written by, composed by Leonid Desetnikov, who at that moment was a young composer. Nowadays he doesn't write for films. He doesn't have time for that. And I realized suddenly when I started using those tracks that it fits. So I called him and said, well, I'm using it. If you want it or not. Well, certainly he did some work with the help, rearranged something, but basically we had to re-record it because at that time music was not even digital, it was analog, so it wasn't fit. So we did some work, but basically it was this old music from Hammer and Sickle, and we agreed with him that in the future I'll be using this music in every film I make. I'm sure this music will belong very well to any film.
Martin, do you have another question or should we?
Why don't we open it up and see what?
Yes, perhaps the first question, as we sometimes to maintain this tradition, goes to the students, as well as the last. Michael, please.
Thank you. Would you pass it? I have a question about details, specifically in Mark's bedroom when he stays with his father. There's a photograph above his head where he sleeps of Andrei Tarkovsky, and there's a statue on his table. The photograph I made out, but I didn't know of who the statue was. There were, of course, a lot of photographs and a lot of mementos, but those in contrast seemed interesting to me, and I was wondering if there was any specific reason for, first of all, Tarkovsky, and also who the person was that the statue was made of.
Frankly, I don't remember the statue. Probably I should watch the film again. So if you can wait for a couple of hours, I'll go watch it now.
I'll get back to you, actually, if you want.
Tarkovsky, yes, the reason is very simple. First of all, that's the picture I have in my bedroom. As many things from this film I simply brought from home. And I also felt that it would be appropriate, because this is my bedroom, this is the main character's bedroom, so I thought that when he, and it's, we see it as it was years ago when he left. So I thought that it would be very appropriate. At that time, he must be fond of Tarkovsky. No way he wouldn't be. Since you mentioned those details in his bedroom, also you can see there on the wall, there is a picture photograph of Jean-Paul Sartre when he was visiting with his wife. And this is, I thought it's a very famous photo made by a Lithuanian photographer Sulkus. He's walking from us in the sands.
Which happens to be Lithuania.
Yeah.
Thank you. So there is a question over.
I can speak louder.
Oh.
I have actually two questions, both related to kind of geography, ethnicity again. Why did you choose Olbrychski to play the father? Is he supposed to be originally from Poland? Because he also wants to go back, he also speaks about going to play in Warsaw, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the second question is, why do they sing La Marseillaise?
Yeah.
Both kind of country-related questions.
So we're still sticking to National Geographic agenda. Olbrychski. Mere chance. 10 days before the start of the shoot of the film, his role did not even exist in the script. There was no father in the script.
How did you have a film production?
The script was written about son and mother. And together with Serebrikov, the actor who played the son, we traveled to many different places. Well, first certainly I looked in Russia among actresses big actresses of that age, but was not able to find one. Then we traveled to Poland, to Bulgaria, to other places where people may speak Russian. Also, no luck. Finally, I was able to find an actress, actually a Russian actress, pretty good actress, mostly theatrical. She was in love with the script, she wanted to do it, she was really very fond of the script. Until the moment when we started doing makeup. And when we started doing makeup in front of the mirror, it turned out that woman was more important than actress. She wanted to be beautiful.
She didn't want to be old
And
and
at the end of the film, she cannot be beautiful.
No.
Death is not beautiful. So we had to part ways. So 10 days before the shoot, I have no actress, and I tried already everybody. So there is nobody to try. The list is exhausted. And then I could not postpone the start. And so I was just sitting in my room and I was thinking what to do. Then I thought, it's a shame there are so few actresses of that age who are still active. And I thought, actually, in terms of men, there are more men than women at that age who are active. And my first call was to Daniel Olbrychski, because sometime before that, we were in touch about another project which never materialized. But I knew him, I knew what to expect from him, and I thought that he and Serebrikov would make a very good father and son. Yes, in the film he says, I would love to come back to Warsaw, but it's not because it was in the script, because I gave these words to him to please him. For him, certainly it was a big challenge to play in Russian, although he speaks Russian, very good Russian, but still it's not his native language. So your second question was about why they sing this. I was looking for a song for them to sing, and we had to find a song that both would know. So it turned out that both knew this song in French.
Okay, thank you.
Second row from the last one. I'm sorry, the young lady, but first? Oh, yes. Sorry.
You said that you want like a happy ending, and like the movie left out a funeral or like a mourning period with Irina just leaving and him just starting up his like wooden things. Is that part of the reason that you left it out?
What is part of the reason?
Like that you wanted a happy ending, like you didn't want to focus on any like sad or.
It's the funeral?
Mhm.
So there was no funeral, you're asking?
No, like or even a mourning period.
There is a mourning.
Well, she's uncovering those mirrors. That's what they do a few days after the funeral. Yeah, well, I think it was enough. It's clear that father died, right?
Yeah, no,
Yeah, so it was
just
enough for me. So, but I didn't want to. Actually, when the film was finished, some people were advising me to get rid of it. The epilogue of the ending of it. Some people advised me just to finish the film with him sitting at the table and eating his vinces, right? Which is a legitimate ending, but that's not why I was making the film. I wanted some light at the end of the tunnel for him.
There was a question there and here.
Yeah, if you don't mind, as a film scholar, I would like to maybe ask for a couple of minutes to comment. So if I understand correctly, you were planning the mother figure at first, right? Okay, it seems to me that the higher powers sort of intervened, changing your mind and your entire direction, right?
I agree with you. That's the best thing with what happened with the film.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so from this viewpoint, I think it was a marvelous film, right? Taking your heart right from the start. And I thought it was to a great extent sort of a Filinesco in the style of Fellini. I remember Daniel Birdie being a young man and the movie star, and I think he probably is very happy and very proud of having the role of this tragic scale at the end of his career. So even with an accent a little bit sort of not fitting in, I think it's still a great choice. I mean, Albertowski. But it seems to me that from the beginning to the end, this vicious circle is not resolved. He continues going within this vicious circle. And this is a very, very tragic situation in which nothing actually works. No relationship, no scenes, no lines, no confessions, no tender gestures, nothing actually breaks the circle. This circle is so incredibly pressing and powerful and deep that he cannot get out. What you allow us to do from the very beginning, you create a channel right from the start of the movie, which I would call the multisensory channel, with beautiful colors, with beautiful music, very sensual, very multisensory, in which you introduce right from the start and throughout the entire movie, the beautiful world. The world is love, the world is art, the world is the way out. And if people cannot find the way out within the relationships, there's a big world that can take them by the hand and get them out of any vicious circles that they may feel that they are stuck in. So this beautiful cinematography is very dramatic and very instrumental. It works on the side of good, art, exit, resolution, catharsis, right from the very start of the movie to the very end. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, what a review.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for this excellent film. Among other things, it deals with aging and about relationship between grown-up children and their aging parents. And also, in this particular case, the father could be dying of different kinds of diseases, but he's dying from dementia. So could you please comment on that? Why did you choose that?
Frankly, I don't even remember choosing it. There was no choice. It just was so natural that it must be that way. And I certainly can start trying to justify this, but frankly, I'm not even considering anything else.
But there is a different word, or if you want, a synonym that the doctor uses. He calls it degradation. I forget what it is in Russian, but I just remember seeing this in the subtitles. Degradation. Which is this a medical term, or is this something that you were aiming at as a more general image of the end of the cycle?
Well, there are dozens and probably hundreds of different kinds of dementia, and it's just, this is an umbrella word, like same as degradation. So what was important is that he's slowly losing his mental capability, his memory, whatever it is. Well, whatever it's really called, the doctor never says what his diagnosis is. He says that degradation not as a diagnosis, but it's describing the process.
Thank you for this wonderful film. I guess it was also divine interference that the actor who played Viktor sort of looks like Kirk Douglas, who sort of looks like Van Gogh. And at the end, all the carvings that they did, how did you come to the title?
Well, when I was writing the script, there was no ending. This episode, this final episode, which takes place at this senior center, it didn't exist. I was writing the script. I was at that time in Israel, and I heard about a guy who is whose name is Sasha Galitsky. He's an artist who probably like 10 years ago decided that he doesn't want to be an artist anymore. He prefers to work with elderly people, teaching them how to carve on wood. These people are his real students. I mean, some of them are actors who I brought and mixed them with his real students. But basically, that's what's going on with in real life. And they are carving on wood, and he teaches them to carve on wood. And this is a real project he made with his students. He gave them this picture of Van Gogh, Birdie, and they did it in 80 different versions. So these are real cards, they're not made for the film, they exist. So when I was in Israel, I heard about it. I didn't see any connection with my film. I just wanted to meet the guy, and I went there. I spent some time there. He's a great guy. We became friends. And that's it. And then I went home and I continued writing the script. And suddenly, at some point, I decided that I need to use this because that's my light at the end of the tunnel, as it was probably for him, for Sasha. So that explains the title, because it's Van Gogh's pictures. I also thought that they both. Well, Van Gogh is the most famous loser in the history of art. And at the same time, he's a genius, right? So they both characters are kind of losers and kind of geniuses. And they're also both ginger. So as Van Gogh was. And my both sons are too.
And by, if I may ask, Van Goghi,
of Van Gogh's. Like, is
When
this
plural?
meant to be plural?
Yeah. Oh, because
But all the 18.
many of them.
There are so many
At least two.
Thank you.
Maybe the answer is already on the surface, but for me it's a little foggy. That's why I'm going to ask. Why was it significant to introduce a second type of death, which was like peaceful and in sleep? The girl's grandfather, the girlfriend's grandfather, he died in peace while he was sleeping. Why was it significant to the plot?
Why what was significant to the plot?
The death of the girl's grandfather, that he died in peace and left why was it significant to include it rather than leave it out and just like give him the
Why was it important to say that he died?
like why was it important for the whole picture and the plot?
I agree with you. Important is that he triggered this. Because the main character first teach him to do something, right? So probably that triggered the idea to start doing it with elderly people. But to kill him, why was it important?
And to say that he died peacefully and like because we saw so much suffering and so it was so hard, and then there's this girl who's, oh, but my granddad died in sleep. I was like, like, why include?
I don't know, probably there is something sadistic in there.
It seems like also though that starts the other whole set of discussion about having, you want to get married, have a baby and all that other stuff too, right? And it's a key turning point where he starts himself back on this other journey that he has to complete.
Just. Sorry.
Okay. What was the most difficult part of filming, and what would you say to yourself, your past self, before you started to film the movie? Okay, so I'm going to repeat. Okay, so what did you find to be the most difficult in the process of filming? And what would you say to yourself in the past, like advice to yourself in the past?
Okay, what was difficult when filming? What was difficult? Sheer joy, nothing difficult. Difficult is actually to get rid of things, not when you shoot, but when you edit, to delete scenes.
That's why I asked about why you kept that one. Because I know that it's difficult and it's probably significant to something. And
Yeah. What would I say to myself?
like if you could go back in time and then give your past self advice, what would you say?
If I may paraphrase, is this the same as asking what did this film teach you? No, sorry.
Is it related to the film or
What he
The filmmaker.
would you have done differently?
Like,
Well, I would.
what did you learn?
Yeah,
this
now I would a lot because you see, that's my first film after 23 years of not directing. So I before that film I directed 2 films, but it was in 90s. My last film before this one was in 94. I was doing something else. I was producing films. So it was like another first film. And I learned a lot, really a lot. And I would do everything differently now. I would rewrite the script a few times more, and I would get rid of many, many things. I would try to make it much less talkative, much less dialogue. I would because Actually, I should be probably telling you this because so many things. I would rewrite the script, make it shorter, and I would sometimes less is more, so I would do less.
Which brings up another question. You mentioned just now that you didn't direct a film for 23 years. And in another interview, you mentioned that part of the reason for that might be that there were things that you needed to say that you were just not able to say 23 years previously. Does that, do you want to address that? Do you feel like you're able to say those things now in a way that suits?
No, we made research. One of the, my previous films were very different. When I'm trying to analyze them now, I think that I was young, I wanted to say things, but at the same time, I was not brave enough to say things openly. I was not able to discuss how confused I am. I wanted to look good. I wanted to look smart, intelligent, and what I was trying to do is to hide rather than to expose myself, right? With those films. Most likely you didn't see those films, so you will probably not understand now what I'm trying to say. But that's so. I was going to festivals with these films, and they were pretty successful at festivals. But they were not. One of them, just to give you an example, one of them was about a singer, and mainly about a lookalike of the singer, the singer is drug addict, she cannot sing, so the producer brings a lookalike from the provincial town, and this lookalike replaces the singer, right? It becomes something. So I felt very safe that nobody will think that it has something to do with me. I'm not a singer, I'm not a lookalike singer. Now I understand that subconsciously it was a film which was dealing with my issues, because I was this lookalike. In fact, I was mimicking somebody, and I was my second film, which was called Hammer and Sickle, went even further. It was about a woman who becomes a man in 30s, based on Stalin's order. He said, "Motherland needs soldiers. We'll make soldiers." It's not real. Certainly, it didn't happen at that time. And in mid-90s, it was a pretty unusual subject. Now every second film is about sex change. Not in the mid-90s. So this girl, a peasant, became suddenly a man, a worker. Nobody knew about it. Nobody could know. It was very secret. So this lonely soul was living in somebody else's body. It was exactly like me. Nobody could know. Nobody could know that. In fact, I'm confused. I'm weak, and I wanted to project this feeling of somebody who definitely knows what he's doing and is smart and very, very. So But I couldn't say openly those things. I thought, no, I have to look good. I could not continue that way. I could not operate that way anymore. Trying to hide making films. On the one hand, I wanted to say something. On the other hand, I didn't dare to say openly what I wanted to say. So I just stopped. I couldn't bear this. And then, in 20 years, I understood a very simple thing, that it doesn't make sense to hide anything. Just that's what it's all about. You make a film, just do it about things which really hurt.
I just wanted to start off by thanking you for the film. I thought it was a phenomenal film. The question that I have is whether or not the film was based off a true story.
No, it's not based on a true story. Some facts are real, and there are numerous stories about women who were putting needles in their children's hands. It was a very, very popular thing to do in the 50s and 60s.
Really? I've never heard of it.
Yeah. Well,
Worldwide or in the Soviet Union?
Definitely in the Soviet Union. But I think I was told, I didn't check this, but I was told that in Dr. House there is an episode which deals with that. And also I was told that there is a Norwegian book, which also a novel which describes that. But in the Soviet Union, definitely it was, well, I mean, not every second woman did that, but it's not something invented yet. So there are some facts, but the story, it's not somebody's concrete story.
So I found it very interesting about Mark's migraines and the needle in the head. Naturally, I believed that the migraines were because of the needle in the head, which is because of the father who put it there to kill him. So I was wondering if there was a significance behind it, was it resolved to the migraines in the end? Because it wasn't really clear that way. Because I thought that the migraines, the needle in the head, represented his his anger towards his father, because the doctor said that the needle in the head was not triggering the migraines. So I'm wondering if there was some deeper meaning behind it.
Well, as we know, nobody knows the reason why migraines happen. Nobody knows that. But our educated guess is that it's because something is not right in the person's head.
Yeah, I was wondering if there was an artistic reason behind it, a deeper reason.
Well, my understanding is that he has migraines because he is so unsettled. Not because of the needle, but because he is so unsettled. But this is, there was this question, what if I would change something? I started talking about this. This is one of the things I probably would change if I would be, if I'd be starting this film right now. To avoid questions like this, I would, I think it's overloaded. The film is really overloaded with stuff, right? The whole story with migraines, needle, it may become confusing. Well, some people live with it, but probably simplifying it wouldn't hurt.
Given that you said after each of your past, you said after your past two films, you came to realize that they were also reflecting a piece of your identity. After creating this film and it being released, did you find that this film also is reflecting something about your inner self?
Much more openly than the first two. That was the point I was trying to make. Starting this film, I was not trying to make a film about, not to pretend it's not about me, it's about me, and I'm not hiding this. It's not autobiographical, it's not, I don't have an ego in my head. Emotions are mine.
I was just wondering why you chose to use, why the main character would use ropes for his art, other than his childhood toy was also made out of rope, and I was also wondering why. They had money, they were right. So why would if he could have had any toy in the world, why was it such a simple little,
Which ties back to the first question, right? Yes.
Do you know the answer?
Well, other than why did he use rope for his art?
Yeah.
Because
Well, I'm just curious if you try to answer this question yourself.
I did, maybe because it related back to his childhood and how he was this was his childhood choice. So it if his childhood affected him so much into his adult life, so he would use that.
Yeah, but also what rope, what message it sends to you with the rope is.
Also you can tie it, you can untie it, you can destroy it.
So it's his life. So it's
The ties that bind, we would say.
many threads that are interwoven, as life is.
I can just speak. That's fine. So just to comment on your question, I was thinking about that because when Irina said that her grandfather died in his sleep, it made a lot of sense to me. I thought it was good because one of the questions here is, of course, отцы и дети, right? The fathers and sons, so parents and children, and how in the main character situation, he always kind of lived by prescribed. I think he almost had a Stockholm syndrome. But something was always expected of him, and he always felt like he's not achieving, right? Not living up to the parents' expectations. So then this scene with the parents and grandparents of Irina, or the grandfather of Irina, where they know what it takes to be happy. You have to get married, you have to have a child, you have to, everything is prescribed. And then the grandfather knows how he's going to die, and he knows that Irina is going to be there, and he knows that he's going to give the recipe to Irina when he dies. But that doesn't happen. And a lot of things that happen to the main character is not what is supposed to happen. It's life, So I think it was very organic that the grandfather did not die the way he planned to die. And it's just you have to deal with that, that's life. Is that what she was thinking? But again, you don't really have I think the audience doesn't have to understand it the way the director necessarily understands it. We'll have our own interpretation.
I just thought, when you write something, you don't really calculate everything.
Right.
Well, some people do, but some people don't. And I more follow the instinct rather than.
Yeah.
But I just thought that the fact that the grandfather died, and Mark learns about it when given the carving. That makes the impulse stronger to do something with it, to continue with it. Well,
Because there is one generation more in that family.
Right, right. It created a sense of urgency. Because he died, you gotta do something while you're still alive.
No, my question was mostly about why he died like that, rather than he just died. I mean, you can kill him.
I guess that's
I'm just saying, why the peaceful death.
We are applying the
But I
wasn't what he planned.
I see your
Right,
interpretation.
right, because I also deal with this now. I mean, I'm a parent of a college student just like you, and, you know, grandparents all this, you know, talk about marriage and children and this, and of course, you know, people find happiness in not necessarily in their past. And that's where our main character found his happiness, not with a woman, not, you know, not with becoming a father, you know.
Yeah, that's the one.
And I
in
think
any
for
form.
people of our generation, you know, it's, and for us having children where, you know, we live in a little different world now. And
Yeah, that's how-
for our parents, for the grandfather, you know, sometimes it's difficult to understand that there are different paths to happiness.
Yeah, that's how we were taught that.
Right, exactly.
We have to get married.
So
we
we
have
can
to have
relate to
children.
that, we can relate
Otherwise,
to
you
that,
aren't
very well,
happy.
you know, being older. Yeah,
So, if there is one short question from the student audience, we can take it.
The students are.
No?
Next movie.
Okay.
What are you going to do next?
When are you coming back? To Hunter College.
New movie. What are you going to work on?
In 23 years.
Where do you live?
Pencil.
Where do you live? Oh, sorry, I really don't know much about.
Where
Do
do
you
you
live in
live?
Russia?
I live part-time in London, part-time in Moscow. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. It's a real pleasure to have you. Thank you. As you can see, a pleasure for our students.